Forget what you think you know about batteries. Seriously, forget lithium-ion, forget lead-acid, and definitely forget those little cylinders powering your remote. The biggest, most powerful battery on Earth isn't tucked away in some high-tech lab. It's hiding in plain sight. It's a technology that's been with us for over a century. A silent giant that holds up our entire modern world. It's made of water, and it's the secret that keeps the lights on when everything else might fail. What if I told you that this huge lake, nestled between mountains, is actually one of the most sophisticated energy storage devices ever built? It doesn't hum, it doesn't glow, but its power is almost unimaginable. This isn't science fiction. This is the story of the world's largest batteries, how they work, and why our future depends on them more than ever. This is the genius of pumped storage hydropower. We are in a race to build a future powered by the sun and the wind. Solar panels and wind turbines are popping up at a breathtaking rate, all promising a clean, green electrical grid. But there's a huge fundamental flaw in that beautiful picture. A problem that threatens to bring the whole thing crashing down. The sun, as you may have noticed, doesn't always shine, and the wind doesn't always blow. This on-again, off-again nature is the Achilles heel of renewable energy. We want power 24/7, but the supply from these sources is all over the place. 1 minute, a gust of wind sends a massive surge of power onto the grid. The next, a cloud floats by, and the supply suddenly plummets. For the people who manage the grid, this is a nightmare. Their job is to keep a perfect, real-time balance between supply and demand. Think of the grid like a perfectly inflated balloon. Too much air, too much power, and it pops, causing blackouts. Too little, and it deflates, and the lights go out all the same. It's a high-stakes tightrope walk every single second of the day. The obvious answer seems to be batteries, right? And you're not wrong. Giant lithium-ion battery farms are growing fast. But here's the uncomfortable truth. They are nowhere near ready to solve this problem on a global scale. They're great for a quick fix, lasting a few hours tops. But the cost, the lifespan, and the sheer volume of raw materials we'd need to back up entire countries with chemical batteries are just staggering. One grid-scale battery is a massive project. Backing up a whole country for days would take resources we just don't have. So what's the answer? How do we store enormous amounts of energy, not just for hours, but for days or even weeks, to build a truly resilient, 100% renewable grid? Well, the answer isn't some futuristic tech. It's been here all along. The solution is elegant, powerful, and brilliantly simple. It's called pumped storage hydropower, but it's way easier to just think of it as a giant, rechargeable water battery. It all starts with two big bodies of water, two reservoirs sitting at two different heights. You have a lower one and, most importantly, an upper one. Here's how it works. When there's too much electricity on the grid, say on a sunny, windy afternoon when renewables are cranking out more power than we need, that cheap extra energy gets put to work. Instead of going to waste, it's used to power massive pumps. And these pumps do one simple thing. They move water from the lower reservoir uphill to the upper reservoir. That's it. As the water is pushed up high, the electrical energy is converted into gravitational potential energy. It's like using electricity to lift a giant weight. The higher you lift it, the more energy is stored, waiting to be released. The battery is charged. Then, the moment of truth comes. The sun goes down, the wind dies off, and millions of people get home and turn on their lights, their stoves, their TVs. Demand for power skyrockets, just as renewable generation disappears. The grid needs power, and it needs it fast. In response, the operators of our water battery simply open a set of giant valves. Pulled by gravity, the water from the top reservoir comes rushing back down through enormous pipes called penstocks. As it barrels down, it spins turbines. the exact same kind you'd find in a normal hydroelectric dam. The force of the water spins the turbines. The turbines drive generators. Just like that, the stored potential energy is turned back into electricity and fed to the grid, meeting that peak demand. The water ends up back in the lower reservoir, ready to be pumped up all over again the next time there's extra power. It's basically a perfectly rechargeable system. Think of it like a giant hourglass. When energy is cheap, you flip it and let the sand, the water, run to the top. When energy is expensive, you let it run back down, powering your world in the process. This cycle can be repeated again and again for decades. And the efficiency is amazing. Modern pumped hydro systems have a round-trip efficiency of 70% to 85%. So for every 100 units of energy you use to pump the water up, you get 70 to 85 back out. You lose a little in the process, just like how your phone slowly drains its battery over time. But for a machine the size of a mountain, this is incredibly effective. It's basically a perfectly rechargeable system. Think of it like a giant hourglass. When energy is cheap, you flip it and let the sand, the water, run to the top. When energy is expensive, you let it run back down, powering your world in the process. This cycle can be repeated again and again for decades. And the efficiency is amazing. Modern pumped hydro systems have a round-trip efficiency of 70% to 85%. So for every 100 units of energy you use to pump the water up, you get 70 to 85 back out. You lose a little in the process, just like how your phone slowly drains its battery over time. But for a machine the size of a mountain, this is incredibly effective. Let's try to put that in perspective. Right now, the world's biggest pumped storage plant is the Fengning facility in China. This one plant has a generating capacity of 3.6 gigawatts and can store nearly 40 gigawatt hours of energy. That's enough to power millions of homes for a full day. The underground powerhouse alone is over 400 meters long. This thing was built specifically to balance out a nearby 10 gigawatt wind and solar farm, soaking up its extra power and releasing it when needed. Here in the United States, the Bath County Pumped Storage Station in Virginia has long been a titan of the industry. It can generate 3 gigawatts of power and holds enough energy to run 7,000 homes. These aren't just power plants, they're the guardians of grid stability. Unlike a gas plant that can take hours to fire up, a pumped hydro station can go from zero to full power in a matter of seconds. They are the grid's emergency response team, the critical buffer that stops blackouts before they happen. Think of it this way. Generating capacity in gigawatts is like the size of a fire hose, determining how much power you get at once. The energy storage in gigawatt hours is the size of the water tank, telling you how long you can keep that hose running. And the beauty of it is the physics. The amount of energy you can store basically comes down to two things: how much water you have and the height difference between your two reservoirs. Double the height, you double the energy. That's why these plants are usually built in mountains, using the natural landscape to get the massive elevation changes they need. Some of the newest plants are true marvels of engineering. In October 2025, a new plant in China's Jiangsu province became operational, with the world's tallest pumped storage dam, standing over 182 meters, as tall as a 60-story building. These aren't just batteries, they're monuments, turning whole landscapes into massive energy storage devices. But today, the century-old tech is having a massive comeback, not to help fossil fuels, but to help us get rid of them. It's like finding a classic, beautifully built car in a garage. You don't scrap it, you give it a brand new electric engine. The reliable, sturdy frame is the same, but its purpose is now perfectly suited for a clean energy future. The ability to store energy for a long time, many hours or even days, is something chemical batteries just can't do cheaply yet. Batteries are great for a short sprint, but pumped hydro is built for the marathon, making it the perfect partner for solar and wind. Governments and energy companies everywhere are catching on. China is in the middle of a colossal building boom. They are planning to add over 100 gigawatts of new pumped hydro by 20. In the US, studies have found thousands of potential spots for new projects. There's a growing realization that without this kind of large-scale, long-duration storage, hitting our net zero goals will be next to impossible. Investing in these projects can save hundreds of millions of dollars in energy costs. This can be achieved by cutting down the need for fossil fuel peaker plants. It also helps by not wasting precious renewable energy. Pumped hydro isn't just reliable, it's incredibly durable. A lithium-ion battery pack might need replacing every 10 to 15 years. A well-maintained pumped hydro plant can run for 100 years or more. They are long-term investments in our energy infrastructure, built to last for generations. But let's be honest, no technology is perfect, and it would be wrong to paint these giant projects as a flawless solution. As the saying goes, there's no free lunch in the energy world. Building a traditional dam and flooding a valley has real environmental consequences. These projects can mess up river ecosystems, block fish from migrating, and displace both wildlife and people. When you flood a bunch of vegetation, it decomposes and can release greenhouse gases, especially methane. These are serious problems. In many parts of the world, they've led to strong opposition against building new dams. The open-loop systems, which are connected to a natural river, can have the biggest impact. They change the river's flow and temperature. The construction itself is a huge undertaking. It requires tons of concrete and materials, all of which comes with its own carbon footprint. On top of that, you're limited by geography. You need the right mix of land, water, and most importantly, a big hill or mountain. You can't just build a water battery in the middle of a flat prairie. The huge upfront cost and long construction times can also scare off investors. Investors might prefer the faster payback of a smaller battery project. This is the central conflict with hydropower. Balancing the immense amount of clean, reliable energy it provides against the very real environmental and social costs of changing the landscape. Ignoring that trade-off would mean ignoring the complex reality of our energy future. The good news is, the industry is getting smarter. The future of pumped hydro doesn't have to mean building more giant dams on pristine rivers. Instead, it's about being more innovative and environmentally aware. The most exciting development is the shift to closed-loop systems. Unlike the traditional plants, these aren't connected to a river at all. Think of them like a self-contained snow globe. They are just two reservoirs that pass the same water back and forth, over and over. This drastically cuts down on the environmental impact, since you're not messing with a natural river or blocking fish. A study by the US National Renewable Energy Laboratory found nearly 15,000 potential sites for these closed-loop systems in the US alone. This suggests there's huge room to grow without the baggage of old-school dams. Engineers are also getting really creative with locations. Instead of damming up valleys, new projects are looking at using old, abandoned mines or quarries, using the deep pits as the lower reservoir. This not only gives these industrial scars a new life, but also means less new excavation. There are even wild concepts for using underground caverns. This dive into the world of water batteries shows us a powerful truth. Sometimes the best solutions have been right in front of us the whole time, just waiting to be reimagined for a new era. These systems are a monument to human ingenuity, turning the simple pull of gravity into the backbone of our renewable future. If you think these hidden giants of the energy world are as cool as I do, consider subscribing and hitting that bell. We're all about exploring the science and engineering that powers our world. And there are always more secrets hiding in plain sight. So, the next time you see a huge calm lake high up in the mountains, take a second look. It might be more than just a pretty view. It could be one of the world's biggest batteries, silently holding an incredible amount of energy, just waiting for the moment it's needed to keep our world running. The move to a sustainable future is one of the greatest challenges we've ever faced, and it won't be solved by one single silver bullet technology. It's going to take a mix of solutions, old and new. And in that mix, the simple, powerful, and often forgotten role of water, acting as a colossal, rechargeable battery, is going to be absolutely essential. It's a technology from our past that holds a critical key to our clean energy future.